Earlier, I spoke with Ravi Ramamurti, a distinguished professor of international business and strategy at Northeastern University, and I asked him what she and Modi hope to get out of their meeting.
The next year is particularly critical for Prime Minister Modi because he has an election coming up. He would like to see the economy get stronger before the elections. He would like to see project certain amount of strength among the Indian population, and his ability to meet like this with President Xi conveys some of that. And I think for President Xi, this is the time when he is dealing with other important issues, particularly U.S.-China relationship, and also what the developments in North Korea. He does not need to see something flare up between India and China at this juncture. So I think both sides have an interest in trying to talk about the relationship when there is no particular crisis imminent, in order to prevent anything like that from happening in the future.
What would you say are some of the sensitive issues between these countries that the two leaders won't likely reach consensus on during this summit?
Well, there's a border issue, and there's a border dispute that's been going on for a very long time. It flared up last year, and it was something unprecedented, the way that played itself out. I think that is one issue that is going to have to be resolved, but it's a very knotty issue, and it's also tied into the One Belt, One Road initiative that's a favorite project for President Xi, and is connected because one of the projects involved in Pakistan involves building over some disputed territory that India objects to. So, those are two big issues that are going to affect the relationship. Another big issue from India's perspective is trade, where the trade between India and China is very lopsided. The $80 billion that they trade together with each other, almost 60 billion of it goes in one direction, and less than 20 billion goes in the other direction. So there's a very large trade deficit from India's perspective in China's favor. And India has reacted by becoming more protectionist. And that is something that I think worries China, because China sees India as a very important market and a very important opportunity.
Well, India could become the world's third largest economy within the next decade. So when you look at China and India's size, their economies, what kind of opportunities do you see for these two countries in the future, and how do you see their relationship evolving as a result of it?
That's a very interesting question, Elaine, because I think we are now at a point where the relationship has changed qualitatively from when Modi took office in 2014. In 2014, it still looked as if India and China were somewhat equal players on the global stage. Today, China's economic strength, technological strength, and military strength are significantly better than India's. So how these two countries are going to find a way to make this a win-win situation, I think is going to be harder and harder as we go forward. And I think the purpose of this meeting is to find common ground and to think long-term and look for ways so that both countries can benefit from each other's markets, each other's capabilities, each other's technology, and not let some of the other problems get in the way. But it's not going to be an easy conversation. Millennials have a term, it's called woo-woo. It stands for what's up with us. And when people have a relationship issue, they ask each other, let's have a woo-woo. And I think this is a kind of a woo-woo session at the highest levels between the leaders of the two countries to take stock of the relationship and to understand each other better, realizing that both of them may be around for a long time, given that President Xi's position has been consolidated within China. And if Prime Minister Modi wins another term in office, he's going to be around for 5-6 years more, and possibly even longer than that, because he could be re-elected to a third term. So I think both leaders realize that a personal relationship and a rapport and a certain degree of trust and mutual respect has to be the foundation for this relationship.